doing?
I'm alright, yeah.
I'm alright. I think it's everyone else, mate, to be fair.
It is everyone else. So you guys are alright?
But we should introduce ourselves.
We should, shouldn't we?
Who are you?
I'm Paige. I am a FeelFit coach and FeelFit's brand manager. I've been a coach for 4.5 years now. That's flown by.
It's flown by.
That's mad. I specialise in female strength, exercise rehabilitation, and pre and postnatal training. I'm also a mindset coach, and I run workshops in FeelFit.
Yay!
Who are you, Ellie?
I'm Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi. I am the founder of FeelFit. I am also a strength and conditioning coach that focuses on women's health, hormones, cycles, nutrition, and training.
All of it.
All of it. I've been a coach for 8.5 years, nearly 9 years, something like that. I keep saying like 8, and it's got to be more like that. But anyway, FeelFit's
something like that.
FeelFit's been running for 2 years, 2.5 years, nearly 3 years now. And we are an all-inclusive, non-judgmental space that believes that fitness is for everybody and it doesn't have a look, shape, size, age, gender, nada. And there's no blueprint that fits one person.
Absolutely
or
not.
People, rather.
Everyone can feel fit in their way.
It's a unique individual feeling to everybody. And we're here today to talk to you about
being a woman.
Being a woman and training.
Being a woman, exercising as a woman, and all of the hormones and the nuances that go with it.
Okay.
So, just starting off then, why should we train as women? Why should we exercise? Like, we know the other benefits of just staying healthy and fit and kind of fighting off disease, but what are the main benefits?
You talking like the real benefits or the ones that social media will have you believe?
Social media will have you believe that it's to look a certain way for likes and follows and to fit in a pair of high-waisted,
beach body ready,
in a pair of high-waisted seamless leggings, not naming any names. But in taking away the aesthetic and taking away, you know, the kind of the goal of just looking a certain way, there's so much more value to training as a woman. Like, not only is it going to help you to like reduce the risk of getting chronic disease, which we know is those kind of diseases are hitting people younger and younger nowadays just because of lifestyle factors. A lot of diseases can be healed through changing your lifestyle, and that is just moving more, eating more nutrients, and hydrating and recovering. It's like so simple, but we overcomplicate it as a species, and we say that it should only fit a certain portion of society. Where in actual fact, if everybody just walked more, you'd see a massive reduction of these chronic diseases.
Or adding in a bit of resistance to help things like bone density or osteoporosis.
Exactly. I mean, your bone density peaks at the age of 30. So from the age of 30, if you do nothing, then your bone density will decrease rapidly. And those who get the onset of osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, that will reduce even more rapidly from the age of 30. So it's so imperative that we do resistance training to increase that bone density, increase the muscle strength, and increase the tendon strength around those bones to reduce any risk of injury and just to live a better quality of life, to be able to bend down and pick things up, sit down without making noises.
To be able to wipe your own arse at 90.
Wipe your own arse at 90.
A famous saying that I am well known for saying.
Oh, yeah.
Local radio. I think I said it.
You said it on local
I said it on local radio.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it now. Because I want to move through life injury free and be able to do things when I get older on my own. I don't want to be able to. Don't want to have to rely on other people, so you want to be able to move freely and without pain. But also I think there's a bigger piece, isn't there, in terms of like mental health and mental well-being as well.
I mean, I've been active my whole life, and I know that isn't the case for some people, and even as you, Leslie, you didn't enjoy exercise as a kid.
No, I used to hate exercise as a kid. Like, I used to avoid PE at all costs. I mean, I'm sure we're all, as even like male or female, whoever, when we were younger, I'm pretty sure most people were traumatised by PE lessons. And if they weren't, then they were fully submerged into the sports field or the fitness sport activities. For me, I don't want to wear those tiny little shorts. I mean, they were ridiculous.
As I always, I mean, and both of us have found a value in fitness in different ways, but both of us have found it through mental health.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I mean, I was active all of my life. I then spent a period of time in the military where fitness was priority. And then I left the army and had a personal trainer, and he made me see values of training in a different way. So I'd gone from absolutely belting myself in this fitness, just making sure that my body could just get through. And then this personal trainer told me that my body had to be functional. And we fixed things like lumbar lordosis and knee pain, and I got my core strength absolutely amazing. But then I was hit with depression and anxiety, and I was off work for 8 months and did nothing. And it wasn't until my therapist told me, he said, just walk to the gym, walk back. And I got to the gym doors and I walked back home. And then every day I got a little bit further and a little bit further until I was walking on the treadmill for 5 months. 5 months? 5 months? 5 years. No!
5 minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
That's the one. I mean, it's a long time to be on the treadmill.
It does feel like 5 years, I'm not going to lie.
It does. 5 minutes does feel like 5 years on the treadmill. That's why, you know, stay away from treadmills then. But, you know, it just got longer and longer, and I started to feel better and better, and being able to see that value in my strength and value in moving my body and how much it was helping me pulling out of my pit, that's when I decided to train as a personal trainer. And I thought, well, if that's helped me so much, and it's something that is accessible for everybody, even if they can't go to a gym, they can move their bodies at home, or they can go to a park, or they can go, you know, go to a gym or go to a fitness studio like ours, just to pull them out of their own hole. And it helped me so much. And, you know, we release all these happy chemicals, we release oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and it's just so beneficial.
It is, there's lots of it. So there's lots of benefits as to why we should be training, but even more so I think for ladies, because I think there's always been that fitness narrative or that stigma around women and weight training, and I think it's definitely changing within the fitness industry, but more women need to be training, and during your cycle there are certain weeks where you should be doing more resistance-based training, so weightlifting, not necessarily like full-on weightlifting, but just dumbbells, bands. I think some people get like put off, don't they, when you say like resistance and weight training and stuff. But it could be a kettlebell, it could be just one dumbbell. It doesn't have to be heavy, and it's not always about that heaviness either. It's about the technique,
stimulating the muscle.
And absolutely.
Just stimulate the muscle and getting the body moving through its full range of motion.
Absolutely.
Most people, we're moving one range of motion. We sit down, we stand up, we walk to work, we sit down in our cars, we stand up, and your body never moves through those full ranges of motion it's meant to be, and then that's when we start to get aches and pains. But weight training takes everything through every way you should be moving, every plane movement, and that means that your bones and your muscles and everything else will stay healthy.
And I think also it's a taboo subject that's obviously been in the news recently, and we're talking about more and more, but the menopause and women going through that stage. We get told that we're going to have these periods when we're at school. We don't really get told what's going to happen afterwards or what we should be doing during having them. Actually, if we can work with our bodies in line with those cycles, then we're going to be able to get so much more out of our body and actually out of our mindset and what we're physically able to do. But then when we move into the menopause, so your peri, pre, post, there's so many different stages that we're just not talked about. So I think it's really important to understand the benefits of what that can do throughout the stages of peri, pre and postnatal as well.
And the thing is, this is the one body that you're given throughout your whole life. And, you know, we don't get taught it at school, but now there is research and there are things and there are people who have done that research and done that learning that can help you in that journey and just getting to know the vehicle that you're in and knowing how it works. Because again, everybody is different, but we all share the same commonality, that we've all got these hormones raging around our body, we've all got these uteruses that are causing us havoc for you know, at least 50, 60 years of our lives. And then it's all of a sudden, oh, now you don't have to deal with it, but you still have the after effects. And, you know, if someone's there to guide you along that journey, then you can get to know what's happening in your body.
So what would you say, like, let's talk about one good, really key tip that you would give people in their cycle. What would you advise them to do in terms of training?
In terms of training.
And their cycles. Ladies, if you're listening. And then if you're listening, pass this on to your partners.
Learn to track your cycle. First and foremost is learn to track your cycle. I know we all have irregular cycles and things like that. Is learn to track it and track the emotions and track the moods that go along with it. Once you start to track that, then you can see where you've got the most energy, where you've got less energy, where you're feeling pain a little bit more, and you'll start to see that you have this like little bit of an up and down cycle where you know that you can maybe optimize moving and being energetic and doing high intensity and doing weightlifting, and then you'll notice the drop, or when you need to just dial it back a bit, get a little bit more recovery, eat some more proteins and fats. You know, we all have the period cravings. Yeah. So we have a few days before the period comes, and it's become so normalised for us all to go, oh, I'm craving chocolate, I'm craving cake, I'm craving sweets.
It's not what you need.
It's not what you need.
It's not what you need. It's not what your body needs.
Your body's craving carbs. And now carbs have been so stigmatised for all of our lives. So, you know, we've heard it on TV shows as we've grown up, no carbs before Mars, right?
Yeah.
But women need carbs. You know, you have that luteal phase, so the week or so before your period, where your metabolic rate has risen by at least 100 to 300 calories. That's what your body needs more of. So you're craving those carbohydrates. So it's adding things like complex carbohydrates to your meals, rice, breads, pastas, anything that's going to help you have slow release energy, plus proteins and fats. Now,
fats is so important.
So important.
So there is that week before your period where actually your body needs the more energy dense foods. So you should increase your fats by about 10% and decrease those carbs just slightly. Still include them, but keep them a little bit lower. Increase the fats, and actually then your body is going to get the more energy dense foods that it actually needs.
Also, allow yourself the chocolate without that guilt. Do you know what? Like, if you want chocolate, have the chocolate.
So ultimately, I suppose what we're saying, guys, is that really we should be working with your cycle and with your bodies, with food and with training. So understanding what your body needs when and how to do things and what kind of track or cycle you should be following will definitely give you more out of your body.
And I know personally that week before my period, yes, things feel a little bit harder because my pain threshold is a little bit lower. However, I know that the week that I need to calm it down a little bit is the week after my period because I have low iron.
Yeah.
So I slow it down because I know that I'm going to have a drop. However, I know many of my clients, a few days before their period, they're just in the worst place mentally, physically, and they just need to dial down the training. We do a little bit more mobility, we fuel a little bit more, and then once they're on the period, then we can optimise strength and things like that. But like we said, everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
Every
It's
cycle.
a good topic. Like maybe we should talk about how much iron you need in one of our next podcasts.
Oh,
We just thought about that. Anyway, just thought, but maybe that should be our next one.
I think that.
And I suppose moving on, so we've talked about food. We're not going to go into loads of detail, guys. The reason why we're drip feeding this to you is so that you can come to us and we can obviously talk more in depth to you, because we would then tailor it to you, because everybody's different, and our answer to most things and most people in Feel Fit is it depends. It depends on the individual. So we're going to give you the sneak snippets, and then obviously you can come to us directly if you want to find out a little bit more about how it can work for you or somebody you know. So we've spoken about food, we've spoken about training, we've spoken about that cycle and tracking it, or whether it's peri, pre, and maybe even making a diary about those emotions or how you're feeling on those days, because going through peri and pre-menopausal, we don't really understand what that is, and again, it's very different to each individual. So making a little note about how you're feeling and tracking that will obviously help.
Many apps out there that you can do that. Everyone has a phone. We always have our phones on. They're attached to our hands nowadays. If you wake up in the morning or you get to the end of the day and you're like, what went on today? You know, maybe you had an outburst, or maybe people were stressing you out while, you know, driving.
Yeah.
You know, once you start to notice those patterns, you go, oh, I know where I am, I know what's going to come up. You get headaches or cravings, and those things happen. But you also learn to have a little bit of forgiveness for yourself in those kind of times.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes it, like, even your partner will benefit from you realising,
or
the people you live with.
Yeah, people that you live with.
Not necessarily just that forgiveness or that little bit kinder to yourself, because you understand what your body's going through. And actually recognising those feelings and admitting that you feel shit is absolutely okay. And saying I'm having a crap day, that's absolutely fine.
And the thing is, flowing with it helps your mental health massively.
Rather than trying to drum it into you that you should be feeling great, and you should be feeling strong, and I should be able to do that workout, and I should be able to do that task at work. When actually, if you can't, you can't, mate.
And the thing is, it's not happening. It's not happening.
It's not happening.
And the thing is, we're so lucky here that we have this environment. I mean, you're my boss, but if I turn around to you a couple of days before my period, I'm like, my brain ain't working today.
Tell you
this
what,
is
what
how
do I
I'm
tell you?
feeling. What we do? Right, let's have a cup of tea and a biscuit.
Cup of tea and a biscuit.
Let's have a chat. See what we can do.
What can we do? What can we achieve?
It.
Or do you need to go home?
Yeah. Or do you need to go home?
Just
You need
go
to
home.
sleep it off. And then that's just.
I mean, you don't ever go home when I tell you to go home.
No, I don't.
She doesn't like going
I
home.
don't like going home. I like working.
I've created an environment where nobody wants to leave.
We don't want to leave. But like, it's fine, I'll get in the beanbag. I'll have a little nap.
They do actually nap. We have video proof of my members of staff napping in the
We
beanbag.
do, we have a beanbag. But the thing is, just having that environment and talking to the people around you, because I can guarantee the people around you are a lot more forgiving than you're thinking in your head. And just being able to express saying, I'm having a crap day, or I've got lower energy, or everything is bugging me. Just having that space to be able to say that and to vocalise it means that other people are aware of that communication, because not everyone's not a mind reader.
No.
So, and you know, and just giving yourself that self-care by saying, this is just where I am today. And most of the time, you admit it, and then you kind of get over it.
And you get on with it anyway.
You get on with it anyway, because you've allowed yourself to feel the feelings, and that's the most important thing for your mental health and your hormonal health and everything else that goes along with it, because it's a ride.
It is a ride. I think there's one last thing that we do need to touch on, because so following all of those things, so food, training, your cycles, recognising those feelings, being open about them, obviously understanding the benefits of why we should be moving our bodies as well, but knowing when to stop.
Recovery.
So that comes on quite nicely from that conversation. Understanding when your body needs to recover, when you need to sleep, is really important, and especially as trainers. I know over the last 8 years, I literally have to force people, I literally have to write a program which is a recovery program, so they feel like people are doing something, because they enjoy the movement so much, and you've got into it, and you'll get into this flow, and you think, no, I can go. Well, your bodies aren't indestructible, and actually taking that time out from your training program, taking that time out from your exercise actually does your body more good, because you're allowing the body to recover quicker, you're allowing the muscles to fuse back together better, and then you come back stronger. So taking that time out, and it's the same throughout this process, right?
Exactly.
So understanding when you go, do you know what? No, I just need to stop. I just need to sleep. I was guilty of not doing that.
But the thing is, 1 or 2 days a month for the rest of your life is, in the grand scheme of things, is not going to make that much of an indent. And you know, if you take that 1 or 2 days maybe away from training, or just to stretch and mobilise, or go for a walk and get sleep, and then you can understand that it's a little bit harder for new mums or people with children, or you know, ADHD.
Yeah.
But just resting your body is so important, and knowing how to nourish your body in that rest, because there's many things like supplements that you can take to help that recovery. And you know, making sure that you're nourishing enough, because the nourishing is part of the recovery. And
I think there's a myth, isn't there, about if you're on a rest day you shouldn't eat the same, you should be eating less, when actually that's wrong. You should be eating the same, and there shouldn't be days where they're more or less. You should be nourishing the body just the same when you're training, moving, or not training or moving.
Exactly. In fact, and even if you are training more, you should be eating more.
Yeah.
That's just how it is, because everything changes. But that recovery is very important. We live in a hustle culture, and it's always been seen as doing more is best. And you know, most of you probably watching this are the people who get in the office half an hour early to get through your emails, and then you'll sit through lunch and you won't go out, and then you'll stay late at work, and then you'll get home and you'll have all the other things to do, and then maybe you're sat looking at your phone before bedtime, getting things done. You know, that hustle in terms of work ethic, great. However, in the long term, it's only going to lead to burnout. So you need to learn to have boundaries, and working with your brain, working with that new mindset of letting yourself rest and giving yourself that space and that time to turn your brain off.
So I suppose that, like, working with us or working with a coach, which can help you, so it's keeping you more accountable, and it can even be as being accountable for taking that rest, right?
Exactly.
So a lot of my guys now come to me that I write